Welcome to the OCIA Book Club. My name is Rosie Hernandez, Director of Formation and Evangelization. I'm reading and breaking down each part of the newly translated Order of Christian Initiation of Adults, reviewing the content and all the important elements for you. Been gone for a little while, technical difficulties, but hopefully everything will be back up and running and we will continue our weekly book club entries on YouTube. So today this is episode 13, focusing on the rites of immediate preparation, and these take place from number 185 to number 205 was where you'll find all of this information, but I'm going to break it down for you. So the rites of immediate preparation are a different title. It used to be more focused on the Holy Saturday preparation for the sacraments, but now it's kind of a little bit more wide, the rites of immediate preparation. So it's not specifically saying it's only for the morning of Holy Saturday. That's optimal, is if you can have a little retreat day that morning, that is perfect. But that's not always the reality in parish life. And so this kind of gives us some more options and some different ways to organize it so that it's a little bit easier to maintain. Now, many people don't even look at this because we are so busy that whole week before the Easter Vigil, and everything else is happening. There's other masses, there's other events, but really this is an integral part of preparation for our elect. And so it's worth looking into, and it's worth thinking about doing something along these lines. So let's just go ahead and get started. So 185.1 reminds us that we are to remind the elect to keep themselves free on Holy Saturday morning, that they should be spending time in prayer and not, off doing their nails or getting their hair done or all that stuff. All of that should be done ahead of time. And really, Holy Saturday morning should be a time of family and prayer. The national statutes, in fact, Norm 12, encourages us as well as team members and as sponsors, godparents, anybody who's involved with the elect, reminds us as well that we should be at prayer and in fact should keep the fast of Good Friday, all the way through the Easter Vigil. Now, this does not mean starving yourself. Please don't faint during the Easter Vigil. But it does mean taking the time for prayer, taking the time to prepare ourselves as we help to prepare our elect for this important night. So that's something important to think about. 185.2 says that whenever we can be gathered on Holy Saturday, all or some of the rites that are going to be talked about in this section can be used. And so you can really tailor this to what you want to do. Some parishes may only do the Epitha rite. Other parishes may do a whole morning of reflection. There's just various ways. There's no strict structure. It gives you a sample, but there's not strict structure. So you can do the recitation of the creed. You can do the Epitha rite. I never say that correctly. And then the choosing of the Christian name we really don't do, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So you can really just create what you want to create that'll work best for your elect. 186 tells us that the choice is up to the needs of the elect. Okay, so it's really thinking about what the elect have gone through the year and what they might most need to prepare them for Easter Vigil evening. So a couple of options can be, so first of all, if you didn't do the handing on of the creed, then you don't do the recitation of the creed. Instead, you can do the handing on of the creed at this point. Okay, and that's only if you didn't do it already. The handing on of the creed is so important, and the handing on of the Our Father. It's an important moment for the community to hand this prayer over to the elect. And so it's really vital that we do it during Lent. But if for whatever pastoral reason you weren't able to, then do not do the recitation of the creed, because that makes no sense. You do instead the handing on now. Now, the second option says when the creed and the Epitha rite are celebrated, both of them, then the Epitha rite immediately precedes the prayer for the recitation of the creed. And so you do have a specific order there, okay? Then it gives you the model. And the model is, again, just a sample. It's just something to help you get started and give you some order that you can work with. So this is if you're just kind of doing a simple celebration of the word. You're not doing a full retreat. Or maybe you're doing a full retreat and this is your ending of the day. You might do that. So it would be starting with a song. 187 says start with a song that gathers everyone. Now, maybe your music director is very overloaded and can't be there. There's nothing that says you can't invite one of your prayer group praise and worship people to come and lead you in a song, or that you can do a song a cappella. Just something that everyone can use to gather. It should be something familiar, nothing new, but just something or that's easy to catch on to so that everyone takes part. 188, the celebrant greets the people. The celebrant can be priest or deacon. Okay, it doesn't specify, so the celebrant just greets the people as normal. Then 189 tells us we can have the reading of the Word of God. So we read, there's a list of suggested readings in the rite that we can use, and we pick one or two. We can just do a gospel. We could do a first reading in a gospel, a psalm, whatever you would like to do. But there's several listed there. Then you have a homily given by the clergy member that's leading, just giving a simple reflection on the scriptures. And even that is optional. You might just decide you want a time of silence, like, 15 seconds or 30 seconds of silence where they can reflect and then jump back in. So that's up to you. And then 191 tells us we move on to the rites, whatever was chosen for this specific morning or whenever you're doing the celebration. And then 192, it has a concluding rite. So it does have a prayer of concluding. So that's just a model of of what you can do. It can be something short and sweet, just a celebration of the word with whichever of the rites you want to use, or it can be a retreat, and this is your ending of the retreat, whatever you'd like to do. So for the recitation of the creed, what that is that's literally us reading the creed together. Remember that hopefully when you did the handing on of the creed, the elect were not reading along with you. They were receiving it, with listening to it and receiving it into their minds and hearts. This time, this is the first time then that they will recite the creed with the community or the members that are representative of the community at your morning or whenever you're doing this. And so the elect are prepared for the profession of the faith and instructed on their duty to pray God's message. So we're basically telling them, here's the creed, you've heard it before, but it's also letting us know this is what Father's going to ask you to say I do, or ask you to renounce as part of your baptismal vows. You help them to understand that so they can listen and understand. Then 194 again says you do the reading in the homily. You can have the readings can be chanted, the reading can be proclaimed, and then it's followed by the homily. If you're going to do the F of the rite, then this comes next, and then you move on to 199, and that's where the F of the rite begins. So just a little clue in there. If it shows you kind of where to go in the numbers. Number 195 then says you do the prayer, the recitation of the creed with the presider, and then everyone recites the creed together as one community. And this is a beautiful moment because, as I said, if you've done this process the way that it's written out, this is the first time they're really reciting the creed with the community in this way. Then if you are going to skip down to 199 and do the F of the rite, it does tell you that you can sing while the celebrant is blessing the ears and the lips of the person. And if you have a lot of elect, you might want to have an additional priest or another deacon there to help, and the two of them can do that together. Now remember, the F of the rite is only for the unbaptized, and it's to prepare them to receive the word of God. Okay, that's really its intent. If they are baptized, they've already received the word of God, especially if they were baptized in Catholic or another Christian faith. They've already been familiar with the word of God, and so they don't need this special blessing, but the catechumens do. Now, it does in number 200 talk about the choosing of a Christian name, but this is very rare. This is only for when you have someone that comes from a completely different culture, a completely different country maybe, has moved here, and their current name is, for example, they were named after one of the gods of the religious faith or the cultural faith of where they live. So really that's where it means. I mean, some people might say, oh, well, Melody is not really a Christian name, or, Stephanie is not technically a Christian name. It is, but you know what I mean? They're going to come up with things. But in reality, most of our current names can be tied to a saint or something specific in one way or another. This is really meant for those who their name is not consistent with the Christian faith. And this is only at the discretion of the bishop. So this isn't something we just do or take lightly. This is only when you have an extreme case, and it does need to be taken to the bishop. And then finally at 203, you have concluding rites, a prayer, a blessing, and a dismissal. That's done by the celebrant, either the priest or the deacon that's with you. So you can see it's a very simple thing that you can do. And as I said, you can build a whole retreat on this. I've done retreats where we reflect on all the symbols that are going to be used at the Easter Vigil and talk about water, talk about oil, talk about fire, and what these symbols mean and what they'll mean in the baptismal and in the confirmation. And then ending with talking about bread and wine becoming body and blood and what that means. And then we end with this little ceremony, this little liturgy of the word. And so, or as I said, you can just do liturgy of the word. Another parish where I was, we would just do morning prayer, of the liturgy of the hours. We would do morning prayer, and then we would end it with the F of the Rite, and then the sending and the dismissal. So there's nothing that says you have to do a specific way. You can choose the way that you want to do it, what fits into your time schedule and what fits the needs of the elect. That's the most important thing. What do the elect need to most focus and be prepared for the Easter Vigil? See you next time when we will talk about the celebration of the Sacraments of Initiation.